All right, y'all. We're back another video, back another reaction. We're back another episode of Let's Talk About It. So, this clip, right? So last night we watched USC versus Rutgers, and USC pretty much played a seventh, eighth grade basketball team last night, right? And that was because Kayomi McMiller didn't play, or Destiny Adams didn't play. Their best players didn't play because of coach's decision, right? So after the game, I'm on YouTube and I come across this video. Juju Watkins' numbers are all stat padded and fake, playing in 40-point blowouts. And then there's this 1 minute clip. Now I want to share with you guys. And you let me know down below in the comments what he's about to say. Does this make any sense?
And it bothers me because these commentators are getting in on it. And tonight, when I'm watching this on the Big Ten Network and I'm listening to the commentators say, people did put up their signs, where they drove 400 miles to see you play. Well, great. You know what? Make sure you're here when the game tips off. Make sure you are in the building when the game tips off. Don't show up in the fourth quarter. Show up in the first quarter. So you're here to watch her play. Congratulations. You know what? Let's stop acting like she's Caitlin Clark still. They only had 7,300 people in the building. Let's not act like this is, remember when Rutgers played Iowa last year, they still didn't fill this building up. The place seats 8,000. There were
Quick edit again for the 50, 100th, millionth time. Who in a right mind is going to pull up and drive 400 miles for 10 minutes? Because a women's college basketball game is 4 quarters, and each quarter is 10 minutes, which means the game is 40 minutes long. Who in a right mind is driving 400 miles for 10 minutes? Not only is that a waste of time, that's a waste of gas. 400 miles for 10 minutes? Let's be realistic. And that's just not just sports related, but just anything in general. 400 miles for 10 minutes. He said, don't just show up for the fourth quarter. Show up when the game starts. You think they won't show up before the game? You think they won't show up during shoot around and warm-ups? Especially driving 400 miles? And even in the first part, I had in the last video, the couple of pictures I put up, those are kids. So it's not really the kids' fault. It's really the parents that get the kids to the game on time. And the second guy, he drove 400 miles. You think he drove 400 miles for 10 minutes? And again, other sports, right? You can keep it basketball related. LeBron, Curry, Anthony Edwards, Shea Gilgeous, John Morant, Jordan, Kobe, whoever your favorite basketball player is, even Caitlin Clark, you're going to be there before the game even starts. Your favorite comedian pulls up, right? Kevin Hart, whoever, Dave Chappelle, whoever your favorite comedian is. You're going to be there when the doors open. Football, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Lamar Jackson, Tariq Hill, Travis Hunter, Travis Kelce, whoever your favorite football player is, you're going to be there before the game starts. Soccer, football, Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, Holland, Vinny Jr. You're going to be at that stadium before they even open the gates. So who in their right mind is going to show up the last few minutes of what really was it wasn't even belt to back, it was a buckle. They put the buckle on Rutgers. You mean to tell me they put up the last 10 minutes? There's people on planet Earth that does that. Make it make sense. This is why I say this is forced hate. Don't even entertain it. It's forced hate. But, again, that's just my opinion. Let's get back into the video. Alright, that's pretty much the clip. So let's start with this, right? Now, I will say this. I'm not a fan of star players playing extra minutes And that's only due to precaution of injuries and things of that nature, like what happened with Paige Beckers yesterday. But what people have to understand is that when people drive 400 miles for something or someone, they have to realize that this is the main attraction. Juju Watkins is the main attraction of USC. So, of course, they're going to drive from wherever they're from to watch her play.
People did put up
But
their
hold on.
signs, where they drove 400 miles to see you play. Well,
Juju is the main attraction. Of course, they're going to drive from wherever they're from,
great.
whether they're
You know
from.
what? Make sure you're here when the game tips off.
That to me just made no sense. This is what I was saying a couple of weeks ago about forced hate. They don't like Juju Watkins because she's the closest threat to Caitlin Clark legacy. You mean to tell me somebody will drive 400 miles for 10 minutes? Who in their right mind? And it's not even just sports, it's just anything in general. And then even because the other couple of signs were kids, so you can't put that on the kids. It's really the parents to get them there on time, right? And then it was the other guy with the sign that said he drove 400 miles to watch Juju SC. Let me ask y'all a question. Who in their right mind would drive 400 miles for 10 minutes? He just said, don't show up for the fourth quarter, show up for the first quarter. No, he said be there before the game tips off. You think he would drive 400 miles and not be there before they even show up on the court for shoot around? For warm ups? Forced hate.
Make sure you are in the building when the game tips off.
Nobody's showing up for 10 minutes. That's like driving to a soccer game or football, whatever you want to call it, for the last 3 to 5 minutes of a soccer game. Or even for football, American football. Nobody's driving 400 miles for 5 to 10 minutes of the fourth quarter of a football game. You see what I mean by it? It's not making sense.
Don't show up in the fourth quarter. Show up in the first quarter.
Don't show up in the fourth quarter, show up in the first quarter.
So you're here to watch her play. Congratulations. You know what? Let's stop acting like she's Caitlin Clark still.
Here we go. Still bringing up Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark has nothing to do with this. What does Caitlin Clark have to do with Juju Watkins? And I know everybody loves to bring up Caitlin Clark's senior year or even her WNBA first year. But we're
The
going to look at the comments after this.
way we
Hold on.
had 7,300 people in the building. Like, let's not act like this is, remember when Rutgers played Iowa last year, they still didn't fill this building up. The place seats 8,000.
So if it was 7,300 people and it seats 8,000, that means what, 500 people didn't come to the game? 800 and 7,300, it's like 8,000, I'm sorry, 8,000 and 7,300. It's 700 people didn't come to the game. That's still a lot of people. 7,300 people showing up to watch a USC put belt to back, put buckle to back. They put buckle to back. It wasn't the whole, it was the buckle on Rutgers. And still 7,300 people showed up to watch them do that. That's a lot of people. And let's look at the. Okay, one last edit, and we're back into the video, right? Now, see, me personally, I don't want to see players play an extra 33, 35 minutes a game. And that's just for injury reasons, injury precautions. But you also have to keep in mind that these players are the main attraction. And by his logic, the top players in the nation would barely play over 25 minutes a game, 26 minutes a game for no stat padding. That means the players that people pay their hard-earned money to watch, the Juju Watkins, the Kiki Ariafins, Notre Dame's Hannah Hidalgo, Olivia Miles, Paige Beckers, Madison Booker, Flau'jae Johnson, Rory Harmon, like everybody's top players, they would barely get in the game because of no stat padding. It would literally be the best team's second string versus the weaker team's first string. Nobody wants to see that. That's why you see these players. Now, again, I don't want to see these players play this much time due to injuries and things like that, especially what happened to Paige yesterday. But we have to start taking account that these players are the main attraction. These people are paying their hard-earned money to watch a Juju Watkins game, a Hannah Hidalgo game, a Flau'jae Johnson game, a Paige Beckers game. So, of course, these players are going to play, or the coaches are going to put these players in for 30, 32 minutes because that's who the people pay to see. Realistically, some of these people don't even know the entire roster. They just know one or two people. And their day is made by watching these players play. So I understand that these people are saying, oh, these players are stat padding. But then again, we'll never know who the best player in the nation is. That's why I keep saying we need more ranked matches. We need more ranked matches to eliminate this stat padding and blowing out teams by 40 and 50, 60 points. So you can find out who the best player in the nation is. But anyways, let's get back into the video. Comment section. Because now people are saying that this is worse than Reese in the Sky. This is meant to not only pad Juju stats, but to embarrass inferior opponents. Absolutely classless. They're calling Juju the next Angel Reese for stat padding. CC Caitlin Clark took herself out of the whole fourth quarter at the All-Star game. This is the WNBA comparing a college sophomore to a WNBA player, a college senior, not sophomore for sophomore, but sophomore to professional, sophomore to senior. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And even from the box score, everybody pretty much played. Everybody that was eligible to play pretty much played. Even though it was a couple of 2-minute players, I don't really consider that, 2 minutes. Like, what is that? That's kind of like scratching your shoes on the court, and that's pretty much it. But for the most part, checking the box score, 13 people played, technically, statistically speaking. So it's not like Juju played 40 minutes and everybody else played 10 or 12 minutes. Juju did sit down for 10 minutes of the game. So instead, I did a little digging. And we're going to compare sophomore to sophomore and see what is this hoopla about comparing a sophomore to an entire WNBA player who is close to entering her second year in the professionals. This is Juju Watkins' sophomore year stats: 25, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 45% from the field, right? And according to InnerBasket.net, Caitlin Clark's sophomore year was 2021-22. 27, 8, and 8. Juju Watkins, 25, 6, and 4. So if my math is correct, that's what? 27, 25. So what is that? A layup? A layup point difference. Rebounds, 8 to 6. 2 rebounds and 4 assists. So it's a layup, a couple of rebounds, and a few assists away from averaging what Caitlin Clark averaged in her sophomore year. And Caitlin Clark averaged a steal and under a block a game, while Juju is averaging in her sophomore year 2.5 steals and 2 blocks a game. So what's this hoopla about Caitlin Clark being so much better than Juju Watkins? Sophomore to sophomore. The only reason why I'm using this website is because I don't think ESPN goes that far back with her sophomore year stats, Caitlin Clark's Iowa sophomore year stats. And this whole discussion about Juju Watkins playing more than she needs to. Oh yeah, and then the field goal percentage is pretty much the same. 45 to 45.2, 45. It's the same field goal percentage. So again, there's no real difference stat wise, sophomore to sophomore, right? Caitlin Clark is averaging 36 minutes in her sophomore year. Juju Watkins is averaging 33, 24, 25, in 33 minutes is averaging 25, 6, and 4 assists with 2.5 blocks and pretty much 2 blocks a game. Caitlin Clark, again, her sophomore year, is averaging in 36 minutes 27, 8, and 8 with a steal and a half and just under a block game. So again, what is this? Let's not act like Juju Watkins is Caitlin Clark mess. I'm not understanding it. Shooting wise, again, they pretty much average the same field goal percentage 45%, 33% from three. Juju Watkins is shooting 35% from three while attempting 2 to 6 threes a game. She's shooting 35% now from the 3 point line. Meanwhile, they said she was struggling for a while. So it looks like she has a better shooting percentage, sophomore to sophomore. Not senior, not junior, because again, Juju is not a junior or a senior. The senior year is what people compare Juju Watkins to. That just goes to show you how good she is. If you have to compare a sophomore to a senior or a sophomore to an upcoming second year WNBA player, 33% from 3 point line, and Caitlin Clark's sophomore year, Juju Watkins is shooting 35 in her sophomore year. Free throws, attempting 6 to 8 a game, she's shooting 84%, and Caitlin Clark is shooting 88%. So again, I'm not understanding what's this hoopla, this anger, all of this animosity towards Juju Watkins, because all she does is hoop. It's not her fault that her coach wants her in the game and she's the main attraction at USC. That people want to play with Juju and the fans want to see Juju Watkins play. And now we're back to saying that Caitlin Clark is just so much better than the entire planet. I thought I thought Caitlin Clark was canceled for quote unquote bending the knee. I thought Caitlin Clark was canceled for bending the knee, being fake woke to the black women of the WNBA, aka the bullies, her bullies of the WNBA. So now we're back to saying she's the best player on the planet. And now the cash cow of not just women's sports, not just women's basketball, women's sports, but sports in general. She's the top athlete of every sport now. And again, I'm not a Caitlin Clark hater at all. I'm the one that gave the fan base a nickname, the Clarkies. If Taylor Swift has the Swifties, Caitlin Clark has the Clarkies. And as you can see, that's almost a full circle moment. Because around this time last year, when I gave them the nickname Clarkies, not only did it make it to TV the next game, but Caitlin Clark is doing interviews with Taylor Swift's current boyfriend, Travis Kelsey. She was on the Kelsey podcast with Travis and his brother, Jason Kelsey. So that's close to a full circle moment for me. But at the end of the day, again, this video is not going to be too long. I'm just confused on why there's so much Juju hate. And the only reason I can come up with is is that she's a threat to Caitlin Clark legacy. We could keep watching a little bit more. We could watch a little bit more, but again, I'm not getting it.
I thought at about the 7-minute mark, Von Olive Hoffman, whatever her name is, she goes up for a layup and she gets body slammed, lands straight on her back. You think right there, okay, Gottlieb, wake the fuck up, wake the fuck up, get your starters out, let her shoot her free throws, pull your starters out, please. No, they all came back in. They all came back in. Juju Watkins is still on the floor.
So, and then that's another question too. Do people have the same energy when other teams have their star players in when they're up by 55? Or is it just Juju Watkins? Because if I'm not mistaken, there's other teams that play their star players 33, 34 minutes and they're up by 55, 70 points. And nobody says anything to them. But when it's Juju Watkins, it's, oh, she's playing too many minutes. She should play 23 to 25 minutes when they're up by 40 and things of that nature. But when other players are still in the game and they're up by 30 and 40, nobody says anything. I just don't get it. Juju is the next Angel Reese. Juju Watkins is the next Angel Reese. Yeah, anyway, if Juju has the stat pad for 23 points, Caitlin Clark has nothing to worry about. She's currently falling well off the pace. It's one thing to do it for a year, it's a whole different thing to keep it up for 4 years. Juju is another Angel Reese. Again, I don't know. Again, this is just more forced hate, in my opinion, at how I'm looking at, especially this one clip of
On the Big Ten Network, and I'm listening to the commentators say, people did put up their signs, where they drove 400 miles to see you play. Well, great. You know what? Make sure you're here when the game tips off.
what does that even mean? Be there before the game tips off. I still don't get that.
Make sure you are in the building.
Nobody's driving 400 miles to be there for a second half or 10, 5 minutes of a sports game.
When the
That I
game
don't understand.
tips off. Don't show up in the fourth quarter. Show up in the first quarter. So you're here to watch her play. Congratulations. You know what? Let's stop acting like she's Caitlin Clark still. They only had 7.
Oh, before we end this video too, right? Let me find this clip. 2 clips. Let's just watch these 2 clips. Just really quick.
There's a lot of players in the country playing Division I basketball. Now, there's a lot of players in the country playing Division I basketball. Nobody scored more points in one game this year than you.
This was last year when she dropped 51 on Stanford.
That's crazy. Yeah. More to come.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark who?
No, don't do that.
Okay. Than you.
That's crazy. Yeah. More to come.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark who? Yeah, Caitlin Clark who? Yeah, Caitlin Clark who?
Listen to Juju's response.
No, don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Here's a second clip.
Get your money on.
That's a good question. I'm going
Let me show you some shit that you might like. Who do you think is winning rookie of the year this year? Who you get your money on?
That's a good question. I'm going to go with Caitlin.
Caitlin?
Yeah.
Should go.
Even though, yes, I do remember Juju at one point said Angel Reese won Rookie of the Year, and then it flipped to Caitlin during out the season. But again, Juju has stood up for Caitlin in a few times, but yet y'all don't like Juju Watkins because she's a threat to Caitlin Clark's scoring record. I don't get it, bro. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here because I didn't want this video to be too long. I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about this clip about showing up when the game starts and not being there in the fourth quarter. Like, I don't understand what that even is supposed to mean. Like, who drives 400 miles for 5 minutes? I don't get it. But anyways, you guys let me know down below in the comments how you feel about this. Do you feel like this is forced hate on Juju? And all she does is hoop. She just does what her coach is telling her to do. Just go hoop, goes home, does her homework, goes shopping, go buy baggy clothes, and plays with her dog. That's it. Meanwhile, y'all are just mad for what? I don't get it. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here, bro. And yeah, I'm gonna see you guys in the next video, man.